Hello everyone, howdy, hi, welcome back to my channel. And today's video, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be discussing putting yourself on a timeline, as the girl who says don't stress yourself out with timelines. But I want to go into why I'm putting myself on a timeline. This is truly a test of, you know what comes to mind, the song Celebrity Skin, where it's this concept of, do you really want it? Are you willing to sacrifice for it? Are you going to do what it takes? And as I briefly mentioned in my first video this month, I don't feel like I'm doing everything I can do for one particular part of my journey. And if you listen to the podcast or read the blog, I've been talking about this concept of moving in silence. And this video kind of encompasses both points of, I'm not showing up for myself, in my opinion, the way I could be at the time of filming this. By the time you will see it, I will have been thick into the new routine. But also this concept of, I don't have to tell everyone everything. I don't have to share all my plans for the future. I can reveal them as they come out, but I've also had that toxic trait personally of, I could book a feature film tomorrow and you wouldn't know until the trailer hits theaters, unless I'm obligated on contract to post about it. But sometimes with big movies like that, you don't. So I am taking that approach with this next chapter of my life. I have an idea of how I want this to go. I'm not going to hold myself to anything too rigid to derail me if I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to do it. And hopefully the goal is within the next 500 days, which sounds like such a big number, but it really isn't, that a different Vittoria will be sitting in front of you. A different Vittoria will be the person you're following. This version of me that's better, this version of me that is more aligned with where I want to be. And I am going to share in this video some of the things I'm doing to get there. I'm just not sharing exactly what those things are. You'll just have to subscribe and see. I promise this sounds more serious than it is. The first concept being, who are you? What do you want out of life? I think about how I've had this full circle moment. And if you were to ask someone, well, why is Vittoria doing that? The answer would be, Vittoria's always done that. I was in the musicals in high school. I always wanted to be on Disney Channel. I was in the choir, I played percussion, I got excellence and superiors and these like high marks in the arts. I went to an art school. I've always loved the arts. I always feel more alive when I'm around the arts. And then I got told that that's not what you do with your life. That's not where you go. And I started absorbing all these thoughts of how I'm supposed to make a living and how I'm supposed to live my life. And then I kind of had this little aha moment one day when I'm at rock bottom thinking, well, why? There's tons of people out there who are doing just fine. Maybe their journey was easier than others or harder. And I like the concept of, we're all on our own map. It's not going to be the same path for every single person. And I'm really guilty of listening to somebody else's story and getting inspired by it, but that doesn't mean my story is the same way, for better or worse. And when you think of it that way, you've got one life to live the way you want to live it. And that's where my approach came with this. What do I see myself doing? What makes me happy? I think about my first time ever on a set. I was talking to a friend who got it, because everyone else at the time was trying to make me feel bad for doing something I cared about. And I remember her saying, this is maybe the happiest you've ever sounded. You've just never sounded like this before. And that makes me so happy for you, because this is something you're meant to be doing. And it felt very reassuring to hear someone say that. And a most recent experience I had was somebody I was talking to responded to something I said with, well, I didn't know you were taking acting classes. I think that's really cool. I'm really proud of you for taking that step. Like, I wish you the best. I've never had that response to taking a chance on myself or pursuing the things I want to pursue. And you have this moment of, what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? And how do you become it? And that's kind of like chapter 1 of this video. Who do you want to be and how do you become it? And I don't have the answers. I mean, listen, as much as you think 27 is this revolutionary thing, because I believe by the time you all watch this, I'm about to turn 27. And that used to scare me. I used to think, oh, if I'm not famous by 21, I'll never be famous. Vittoriamarlone, you're never gonna make it. I think about that Lady Gaga reference and the alleged Facebook that her classmates made, and it used her legal name. It was like Stefani Jamarata, you'll never make it or you'll never be famous. And like now we know her as Lady Gaga, and she's done all the things. She's an actor, she's a singer, she's an entrepreneur. She is truly that girl. And I think about how sometimes that's the restraint we give ourselves. We tell ourselves, oh, you'll never be good. I know with myself, it's like there's this version of me that I've always pictured in my mind, but the physical person I am, I've always felt, oh, I can't be her, like I'm not her. Yeah, I am. Do the things to show up as her and be her. Who said that you're not her? You did, silly. Stop telling yourself that. And it's kind of like, how are you going to be this person? The first thing I did is a while ago, I looked into astrocartography, and I didn't really know what the map said, and I just sat on it for a year. And then I recently actually decoded what that map said, and I was genuinely, I got chills, because there are places on that map that I recently was thinking about before I knew what that map was saying. So to get a breakdown of what this map was saying were places that I would find career success, or I would find spiritual peace, or I would find romance. These are places I used to talk about and say, oh, well, you know, I wouldn't mind going to this country and getting married. I wouldn't mind going to this country and just taking a vacation. I wouldn't mind going to this country and just kind of experiencing all it has to offer, both as a tourist attraction, but also just to kind of get the vibe. And then I'm finding out from this chart, oh, by the way, your whatever goes through this city of this country as peak for your career. And you go through this city of this country as your peak of romance. And some people believe it, some people don't, but I found that so interesting how so many of these places were already on my travel list. And then I decode the photo and it's telling me, oh yeah, by the way, these are your places. This is where you're meant to go. And I find that really, really interesting. Again, some people are into it, some people aren't, but that kind of jump-started the first part of this, where with this particular 500-day plan, I have, God willing, some travel ideas, both continental and international, that I want to explore with intentions of, okay, this place has this mindset of why we're traveling here, and this has this. In terms of my physical appearance, I have an idea of, okay, how are we going to maintain the way you want to look physically? How are we going to maintain the way you want to be physically with your body and your weight loss? And also this concept of how are you showing up every day to do your hair and makeup? Like even this, I'm not wearing face makeup, I'm just wearing eye makeup, and it makes me feel very beautiful. So doing the things that feel good, doing the things that look good, and treating myself to those things. Maybe I can't afford the spa every month like I want to, but really honoring that 4 times a month, not 4 times a month, 4 times within the year. Give yourself 4 spa trips in the year, and really just let yourself relax and be and have that time, you know? And I find that wonderful. I find that as a way to recenter, and I find that as something I need to uphold and honor, so that I truly am showing up for myself when I have to do the work, when I have to be those things that I need to be. And that's kind of part 2 of this. 1 being, who are you? Who do you want to be? Why are you this person? What is it that is you? But part 2 being, how are you going to do it? And that first thing being the 2 parts of letting myself explore, letting myself get out of this mindset of New York has felt like a mousetrap. I know some people go to New York, and I won't say I've ever failed. I feel like I've failed creatively. That didn't even sound like the proper word coming out of my mouth. Creatively, I've felt lost. I've felt disconnected from who I am. But in the same breath, in terms of survival, in the sense of your basic human needs and everything being met, I've done very well for myself in New York. Yeah, I'm not a multi-billionaire, right? But I'm not homeless, thank God. I'm not hungry, thank God. All of my bills are paid, thank God. I have things that other people don't have, and I see that every day, thank God. And it could be so much worse here. I think of all the people who talk about their homelessness, and they talk about their starvation, and they talk about these true rock bottom points coming to New York. And while I've never had that, in this case of trying to shift and navigate into an artistic career, I do think about what low points I've had in New York and why I felt that way. And it really revealed to me what New York showed me, because I think everyone gets something shown to them in New York. I've heard this concept a million times, but I know for me, it's maybe I wasn't suffering in the reality sense, but I was suffering internally. And what does that mean and why? And so reflecting on, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of New York? Where do I go to get that revival? Where do I visit? Where do I explore to see what's next and where I want to go? Okay, Vittoria, what are you talking about, girl? You're talking about traveling, you're talking about journaling, who you're meant to be, you're talking about this astro cart stuff. Like, what? Okay. Who do you want to be? Why do you want to be this person? What does this person do? How do they explore? Like I said, for me, I kind of want to travel and see places and just be a tourist and just see what that energy is. And then I also just have an idea of like what it means to take care of myself in all capacities of career and school and physical and spiritual and mental and religious, etc. And then it turns into, well, how are you going to apply it? How are you going to take yourself seriously? And it's the small actionable habits of doing my Bible app every day, listening to podcasts every day, doing my Duolingo every day, doing things that challenge me. And even on like a bad day, I still have to show up and do it. Reading my books, maybe going on a run, at least going to yoga, or maybe I make it 30 minutes of exercise, whatever the case is. And kind of concoctioning all these things together, I truly believe in the 500 days, I'm not only going to recenter with who I am, because I don't have to find myself, I just need to remind myself that I'm that person. It's then applying all those things for what's next. You know, it's all a deck of cards, right? And it's all a chance of luck in a game of lottery. And I don't think there's one true path. A platform is a platform. An N is an N, as I like to say. So even if I put my eggs in all the baskets, one of them is going to hatch. And I'm gonna have a duckling of a new life pop out of it. And that's kind of the approach I'm taking with career and school and life. I maybe one day post a video and it gets 1 million views and I get 1 million subscribers, and that's my end. That's my way of leaving the past me and becoming the me I want to be. Maybe it's the casting call for an open call is not just a scheme and I actually get the part. I'm a true like come up, no nepotism, no connections. Somehow God made a way and we're in there. Maybe it's you get a contract and you have that platform and you do your job and it takes you far. There's so many avenues for the things I want to do with my life, and I'm not prudish or snobbish to any of them. They are all an N. They are all a win to me. And I'm reflective of that because there used to be a part of me that thought it has to be this one way. It can only go in this direction, and that's not true. And this sounds like a lot of talking, but I am going to just go ahead and recap everything I'm trying to say in hopefully the most explainable terms that I can provide you. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you do? Where do you go? How do you be this version of you that you've been meaning to be, but you've been putting behind you for some reason? How do you show up every day in little ways to be that person and to continue to show up for yourself, as little as getting up and just doing your morning routine? What are you doing every day? What are those bigger actionable milestones that you're taking to get to that next step? As I briefly mentioned vaguely, maybe it's applying for something, maybe it's going back to school, maybe it's taking that trip or that conservatory or that new job. You're doing something bigger, a big goal, a big action that's going to lead to other actions that take you in the direction you're trying to go. And number 5, what I hope to see for myself and for all of you who are on this journey with me in the next 500 days is that next chapter, that new story. I have felt the last technically 5 years of my life have been one big circle. And it got scary to the point where my social media memories would show me a post from the exact date a year before. And I was making the same social media posts, word for word. Maybe I looked different that day with my hair or my makeup or whatever I was doing that day. But if I woke up and thought, I want to post a story, I saw the story I posted a year ago and I'm saying the same exact thing, and I've been doing that for 4 years, I don't like that. I don't like that when you feel like you've been stuck and as if you're not going where you're meant to be and you feel trapped. Because that sounds like a loop. And you have to break the pattern. You have to get out of the loop. And that's what my goal for these 500 days is. And that's my hope for all of us, is we find that path to the next thing we're trying to get to, because we deserve it. Often we tell ourselves all these stories, all these things. I think about the humble celebrity or the quiet master, all these archetypes of, oh, I can't believe I made it here. I can't believe I got this far. I can't believe I'm standing before you today with this award. No, I know I'm talented. I know I'm smart. I know I'm funny. I know I care about what I want to do. I don't want to act to be famous. I want to act because I love acting as an art and as a story and as a telling. I want to be different characters. I want to embody all these different possibilities of what I can be. I'm not going to shy away from that and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I won the Oscar. No, I know I can win the Oscar. I know I can be in the franchise. I know I can sell out a theater. Just got to get to that platform first. Just have to get to where you're supposed to be to shine as bright as you are. And with that, I hope this video made sense. I hope this video reached the person that needs to hear it. And more than ever, I hope the next 500 days for you and for me brings clarity into what's next, the pasta that sticks on the wall that's meant to be a part of your story, and that you no longer trap yourself in a place and tell yourself you're meant to be here and you compare yourself to others and think, why do they get great things and I get nothing? Why are they succeeding and I'm failing? Why do they get to have this and why not me? Because why not you? You deserve it just as much as the next person, especially because you've chosen to believe so. You're so important. You're so loved. You're so blessed. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching to this point of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend, comment down below to keep chatting with me about this, and I will see you in the next one. Be safe and take care.